Cypress, you have new emails.
Thank you, Rotom, and thank you, Cypress Squad, for allowing me to hit 10,000 subscribers. Absolutely insane. I never thought that I would. I almost fell just 2 seconds ago sliding in. I thought it would be funny. It wasn't. It was horrible. So, because I hit 10,000 subscribers, a lot of you were like, hey, let's do a question and answer video. So, here are the questions, here are the answers. Secondly, I am going to be giving away Pokemon. I already pre-spun the wheel. Rotom is going to introduce your Pokemon as well as the winners. And there's some of you who still have not claimed your custom Pokemon partner. In this video right here, you're still asking me, Greg Sutter, you're one of them, so go claim your Pokemon right there. So, without further ado, let's get into the questions and my best attempt at answering your questions. I am also very bad at saying names, so if I say your name incorrectly, apologize. I apologize. But without further ado, let's go. I gotta calm it down a little bit because being that high energy for that long is very tiring. So our first question comes from Colin Graham, and their question was, "I just need to ask a question." Yeah, yeah. I mean, I appreciate the simplicity of this. It's clever. I appreciate it. You're also on the wheel, so you know, yeah. Next question and more serious question is from Azrael Morningstar. So my question is, if you had the time and ability, would you make a fan game involving your custom region? The answer is yeah, I really would. I actually have the software to do it. I have been inputting a couple of things and trying out little small maps. It's a lot easier than you think it would be to be making like a custom. It takes time. It's a time consuming thing. Um, I don't have that time mainly because being a new dad in university as well as still working full time, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. So adding something else to my plate might be a little bit challenging. But who knows? Once the baby starts sleeping better, it's possible. It's possible. Our next question is from Donkey Boy. Can you explain your membership? The answer is yes, I can. So when you hit a certain threshold on YouTube, they allow you to create memberships. I'm not one to say, hey, spend money on my channel. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I did create it just in case people wanted to help. Your support will just help me to fund certain stuff in the channel. But the membership is currently I just have tier one or trainer level one. So that will open up a couple of perks, three perks to be exact. The first perk is you get custom badges. So every month you're with, a membership, you'll get a new badge and so on and so forth. Custom emotes that you can use in chat. Um, I have five currently, but as more members that come in, I can add more. I have like 60 that I can I have 60 prepared. So and then the third thing is as we grow, it gets harder and harder for me to comment on everybody's comments. I still do the best I can, but it might mean that I am not commenting on your stuff until maybe and a day later. It's just because there's so many more people that are commenting. So the next thing is like it allows you to like stand out. So then I'm like, oh, you're at top of my list, so I will comment to you quickly. But I'll open up more tiers as we go on. Who knows? Maybe I'll open like a Discord channel that allows us to do a lot more RPing. Maybe I'll run Dungeons and Dragons games, like one shots. I mean, that could be kind of cool. Maybe we do like a monthly, I select four viewers and we do like a quick 2 hour one shot, just crazy mission. That could be kind of cool. That could be kind of cool. We could probably do that. I mean, it's something I can manage. But our next question is coming from Amber Levy. Um, are all of your Pokemon in your Pokemon region, and what are the starters of your region? All of the Pokemon are in the region, and there is no actual select starters. And the reason why is because when you only are limited to three starters, I feel like you never get that pure individuality. And you can be like, oh, I started off with so and so Pokemon, and then your friends are like, I also started off with so and so Pokemon. So I've always had this concept in my brain that instead of, you picking out a three, the Pokemon instead picks you. So we've seen that in the Pokemon anime with Ash and Riolu. We've seen that in a lot of fantasy style books with anything dragon related. Think about like Aragon or any of those types of series where the egg chooses the trainer. So my idea and concept would be that like you would come into the Pokemon lab with Professor Cypress. There would be a room or a nursery full of hundreds and hundreds of eggs, and that egg won't hatch until it meets its perfect trainer. Obviously, for the concept of these videos, I spin a wheel to like get your typing, but if this was like a game or a TV show or anything like that, that's kind of how we would do it. Hope that answers your question. So no select starter. Your starter would be whatever Pokemon chooses you. I think that's kind of cool. Our next comment is from Nice Structure. Which one wins? Every Ultra Beast or every Paradox Pokemon, excluding the Cosmog and Necrozma line, or I guess Necrozma and Necrozma line. Um, it's a hard question to answer. Mainly because I guess it depends on what aspect you're looking at. If you're looking at the competitive battling aspect, I think I might give the edge to Paradox Pokemon just because Pokemon like Fluttermane absolutely dominated and probably is still dominating. Um, Iron Treads is very strong. So I think in the game style, maybe Paradox Pokemon. If we're talking about lore and we switch to like the anime, I'm gonna give it to the Ultra Beasts, like just the absolute destruction that they cause, and like there literally is a whole task force that is just made to capture them and save the world. But I also know that there is super strong like Ultra Beasts that are like super competitive as well. I don't know. I think they both have their merits and both are powerful in the right hands or the right lore. I don't know. It's a hard one. So let me know what you think is like the better of the two. Ultra Beasts, like you said, they do have Beast Boost, which is absolutely insane. But I don't know. I think it's a hard question to like really answer, um, because it depends on how you really build them. Right? Each Pokemon, however you build their stats and their IVs and all that kind of stuff, their EVs. Like, what's your purpose? I don't know. It's a hard one. Dante, for real. How does the cyber typing work in the type chart? Good question. Um, because I haven't made a game or really thought about it in a sense where like where is it super effective, where is it like where like what types are super effective against it. I guess my kind of thought behind it would be like if you were to take like your computer and dump it in water, like what would happen to it? It would get all fried up. But like if you were to burn it, it would also get messed up. But like if you were to use electricity, electricity powers it. So like it would be like strong against like electricity wouldn't be strong against it, but like water, fire would be like strong against it. If you were to take like a rock and throw it at your computer, like would it break it? Depends on how big the rock, but like it would be like a neutral because like yeah, you can throw a rock at it, if it's closed, right? If you have your laptop outside and it's closed and you don't throw it at the screen, So I think like it really all depends. If I was to make a game, I would really, 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 really like have to think about it. Like obviously grass, like what would grass do to a computer? Like if I was to take a handful of grass and leaves and I was to throw it at a computer, I don't think anything would happen. But I don't know. I don't know. I think I would have to like really, really dive into it. But we've answered some questions. With that, Rotom, let's meet our first Pokemon and let's meet the trainer that is receiving this Pokemon. Let's go!
Amber Larrabee 1248, your egg is about to hatch, let's go. Larvanom uses its small but potent toxin glands to defend itself. Though its body looks soft, even a light brush against its skin can leave a lasting sting. At least 30 it evolves into Dracados. Its body becomes more lizard-like, can agile. Its venom transforms too, developing into a corrosive fluid strong enough to melt metal. At level 50 it evolves into Venomorm. Its vibrant dorsal spines are filled with a rare venom that changes color as it brews inside its body. It is said to silently stalk the wilds, spreading toxins with every breath it exhales.
So congratulations to you, and I hope your Pokemon journey is going to be absolutely unforgettable because you now have your Pokemon partner to start your journey in your way. And our next question, boom, 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 unknown. Do you like jazz? Yes. Yes, I do. Fun fact, I actually, when I was in high school, was in a jazz band, which is pretty cool. I can also play the saxophone. I am a drummer. I'm okay on the keyboard. I'm not super talented. Try. I can fake my way through being good. Um, but yeah, saxophone and drums. Those are my instruments right there. So yes, I like jazz. I like the concept of it. Super awesome. One, have I ever wondered what would happen if I mix lava and chicken? No, but I have had some very spicy chicken. So maybe the similar, maybe it would just be really, I don't know. I don't know. Be burnt, right? Like it wouldn't even burn, it would just disintegrate. Lava's intense. But I don't know. What would happen if you put lava and chicken together? I don't know. Could be interesting to find out. Null Wolf. Um, what is the idea of the legendaries? Are they past or present of the region? Um, Yeah, I have a lot of ideas with the legendaries. The main two legendaries, one actually has been leaked. I'll put the video in the description of the Pokemon, the legendary that was leaked. Super cool. Haven't really flushed it out too much, and I think the reason why is because they're just kind of story driven part, like they're just help to drive the story. I don't think I would actually give any of them to a trainer, just because they're owned by Varen of Team Titan Tech and owned by Professor Cypress. That's right, I have one of the legendaries as well. So for story purposes, like I wouldn't give it to a trainer. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of giving legendaries as it's why there's not a legendary, or I don't do starters paradox Pokemon, or all the pseudo legendaries or anything like that, because I think, like, yes, there is Pokemon like in the anime. So like if we look at Pokemon Horizon, like yeah, some of them do have, pseudo legendary as a starter, but use your imagination. If it's a I kind of drop hints if they're a pseudo legendary, if it evolves really late, a pseudo legendary. If it evolves similar to like a starter, it's more of a starter power. Um but I'm not a huge fan of giving a legendary. That'd be wild. Can you imagine walking in, starting your Pokemon journey, and it's like, boom, here's a Rayquaza. You wouldn't lose. Me high. If you have a partner, will you get a second one? Or does each person only receive one Pokemon? Yes. There's just so many people that I have to give Pokemon out to. So if you already have one, congratulations, because it is all based off a chance. But that doesn't mean that you still won't receive Pokemon. I do a lot of event style Pokemon similar to this. Ask me questions, you get entered to the wheel. Every 1,000 subscribers, we do a legendary, mythical, or like a special style Pokemon giveaway. Um, Usually it involves like answering a question or doing something. But just because you have a Pokemon doesn't mean you can't get start like legendary Pokemon. The idea behind it is eventually you would catch a legendary, in the games you do. So why not in this, our next question is from Gamer Boy Ivan. What is my favorite Pokemon I've made so far? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I have a great answer for you, because I don't actually have a favorite. Um, because I make so many of them, I like all of them because they're all so unique. This isn't like, they main games where they make a lot of them, but they're not super unique in a sense where they're like just one of a kind. They're one of a kind, but you know what I mean. Um, but I don't really have a favorite. I like all of them. I think they're all really cool, and they're all cool in their own way. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, Zyda Star. If you were to be a gym leader, which six custom Pokemon would you use? So this is a two-part question. So it's not a hidden secret, but my favorite Pokemon typing is poison. So if I was a Pokemon gym leader, I would probably be a poison gym leader. Um, so I would probably just go through all the custom Pokemon that I've made and select poison types. This doesn't mean to, the previous question about which one was my favorite. This doesn't mean that because I would choose those six, they're my favorite. It's just poison is my favorite typing. And if I was a gym leader, I feel like I would be a poison gym leader. That's just how it is. What's the lore behind your region? Are there any protectors like Alola and Lunala? Um, Yeah, there is protectors. Like I said, there is one of the main legendaries kind of leaked before, and they're in the videos below. We do have protectors of Modera. That's the regional name. We have the Cyprus, like the heroes, I guess you could say. They are fighting with Professor Cyprus against the evils of Team Titan Tech. Are they evil? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, slowly lore is coming out about them. We have anti-heroes and all that, but yeah, I think there will be some legendary Pokemon and mythical Pokemon that are like dubbed as protectors. It's just the more you the more you all RP in the comments, the more lore and more stuff kind of comes out. Yeah. Okay, so our next question. But first, we're giving away another Pokemon! Let's go, Rotom!
Since the skeleton Nireg is hatching, the boom spends its days roaming forests in tight-knit troops. Though small, it defends its pack fiercely, using sharp eyes and headbutts to scare off larger predators. At level 28 it evolves into Brawlboom walks upright in battle, using its powerful limbs to deliver crushing strikes. Its fighting style is wild and unpredictable, honed through constant sparring within its troop.
Another trainer meeting another Pokemon journey again is beginning, so congratulations to you. Hope you take wonderful care of your Pokemon partner. And let's go to the next question, which is from Travis Crawford. Wah, wah, wah. That was really bad. If you've watched Superstore, you know where that sound comes from. Do you ever plan on making a map of your region? Remember, I have a farm near Thistlewood. I think a map would be kind of cool, actually. Um, However, I don't think I could do a full map because of the way the region is. It's always growing and expanding. But I think I could do like X amount of regions. Like we did an RP video where some of you still need to claim your Pokemon. So I could do like maybe a map based off of like X amount of regions that I've done, and then kind of near the end, if it ever ends, compile all that together and create like a giant map. But yeah, it would be kind of cool to make a map, to be honest. I think it would be. Crimson Umbreon. What is the tattoo on my neck? So, in reference to this, obviously, when I do the videos and the shorts and stuff, there is a digital kind of uh, animated avatar of me. Um, on there is a neck tattoo. So I made like that video or picture was pre my tattoo appointment. So I actually had a tattoo appointment to get the side of my neck all tattooed. But I ended up getting a bunch of tattoos on my leg. Um, so I still do have a face tattoo, or I guess a chin tattoo. So I do have like my neck, like right here. I have like a tattoo underneath my chin. Um, but there is the tattoo design for my neck. In that, it's not really anything. It's kind of just colors. But my actual tattoo design will be eventually showcased. Just one day you'll just watch a video, and next thing you know, I just have a big neck tattoo. I have a lot of tattoos, if you haven't guessed. It's Mo. Oh, three questions. So let's answer them. How was your region made, and how many zones does it have? For question one. Um, I don't think there's a set amount of zones that this will have. Based off of the way this content is, if I was to kind of limit myself to, like six or seven or eight zones, it would kind of like not allow me to like really it would put me in a box too much. And because of the way this content is, I need to just kind of have unlimited freedom. So I don't think too much about how many zones, regions, or anything like that I have. I've dropped a couple of them, like like the island that we have. Um, so there's a bunch, like the island of the Forgotten Forest is the island. So there's things are getting dropped slowly. What would happen if Team Titan Tech attacked me? Well, I hope we never find out. I don't want to say what would happen. Are you interested in making uh your Pokemon region into a show or something like that? Um, I did a little anime opening. That took me forever. I'm not an animator. So I had to rely on certain programs to assist me, and like help me like kind of. So if you don't know what cartoon animator is, it's really cool. It allows you to like do animations. That's also the video that I'm linking below that showcases the legendary Pokemon. Um, but no, I don't know. Maybe that would be kind of cool. To do a. It's a lot of work. I think that would be a lot of work, but it would be cool. AC is here. What is your favorite generation of Pokemon? Your personal is Generation 4. That's a great gen. That's actually a really good generation. For me, I think it's like a tie between Generation 2 and Generation 3. My thought is that Generation 3 has probably the best Pokemon. Now, there is some duds in that one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like Paulson Minun, pretty bad, but think it has probably the strongest starter lineup besides like Generation 1 and a couple of others. But like those are arguably the most well received starters. Like if I was to be like, hey, here's a Trico, like no one would be like, oh, Trico. Or I was like, hey, here's a Mudkip. You wouldn't be like, or a Torchic, you'd be like, yeah, cool. Like all three of those are super solid Pokemon. But Generation 2 would probably be up there as well, just because of that was the first game I technically played all the way through, even though I had Pokemon Red and Blue and Yellow and all that. Pokemon Silver was my first. But I also have to give a super big honorable mention to Generation 7. I know a lot of people don't like Gen 7 because it was like dubbed as too easy, but like aside from the story and aside from all that other stuff, the story was pretty cool. But like, yeah, the gimmick was a little weird. Z moves aren't like ooh, they're not megas, right? But like the Pokemon like in there are so good. Mimikyu, Drampa, Komo, like so many absolute solid Pokemon. I think that it also has some decent starters. Like Rowlet is super awesome. Litten, like Gen 7 too, man. I gotta Gen 7's awesome. Gotta give a mention to Gen 7. Gets too much hate. Oh, Unknown 8, another question from you. What is your biggest pet peeve? Yours is people using the wrong your.
So my audio got all funky here, but my biggest pet peeve is chewing with your mouth open, because it's just disgusting. It's gross.
Donkey Boy again. As a Pokemon professor, what is your main goal with helping trainers? Just positive vibes, creating a memory that you will never forget. Um, when you first turned on your very first Pokemon game, selected your very first Pokemon partner, and went on your journey, that is what I'm trying to create. I think there's something to be said about that those first memories when you first played Pokemon, that first time like you ever stepped into the world of Pokemon. Like my goal as a Pokemon professor is to continue that sort of feel. Um, hope that answered your question. Next question is from Spencer Leathers. Are there any different Pokeballs in your region? It's a very good question. But there is. I haven't really put a lot of mention into it because shorts don't give you a lot of time. I know I can record shorts on my phone, but I do everything on my PC and then like do all my edits. So when you're doing stuff on your phone, you get 3 minutes, which is wild. When you're doing stuff on your PC, you only get a minute. So I haven't done like a lot of Pokeball style stuff. But in the long forms, a Pokeball will be coming out. I will give you a hint. It is to deal with the Cyber Pokemon. It's called the Cyber Ball. It is what it is. But we've answered some questions. And that means another Pokemon is given away. Rotom.
Now Volf Days, I hear your partner Hatchet Ember Pillar stores fire energy. Its soft, segmented body. The glowing patterns on its back pulse with heat, warning predators to stay away. It uses its stubby legs to burrow into Warnash and can spark small flames to keep itself cozy at night. At level 30, it will evolve into Scorphinum, a relentless ground dweller that burns through anything in its path. The blazing flames behind its head ignite when it charges, intimidating foes and lighting up underground tunnels. It is fiercely territorial and can superheat its body to melt boulders blocking its way.
And with that, we're gonna keep going. Congratulations to the trainers that just received their Pokemon partner. Let's go to the next question. These are absolute awesome questions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having so much fun reading them all. Um, our next question is from Will. Will I be implementing any gimmicks similar to some of the other games? No, no. So I'm gonna get some I'm gonna get some hate for this. And that's okay. That's okay. Um, I am not a huge fan of the gimmicks. I think they're cool. I think they have their place. But I'm not a huge fan of them. Um, I am a huge fan of I think the generations where there was no gimmicks were absolutely amazing, right? Just it's so much fun. Megas are cool. When they first came out, I was like, wow, this is super cool. But then when you do competitive battling and megas were all used, and it was just like your favorite Pokemon didn't get a mega, so then you were forced to use, this set Pokemon. And I know there's metas, and I know that's never going to change. But I personally think that gimmicks, I don't know if I'll do that. I guess my closest thing to a gimmick is the cyber typing. But yeah, no, I don't think I'll do a gimmick. Um, Apollo asked me, what is my favorite type combo? I never really put a lot of thought into this when I was, um, before I read this. So I have had some sleepless nights, kind of trying to figure out what my favorite type and combo is. And so obviously Nidoking is my favorite type, like my favorite Pokemon who's Poison Ground. But I don't think that's my favorite typing. If I was to choose typing, I think I would have to go Poison for sure. But I really like Poison and I really like Fairy. So I think Poison Fairy would be super, super cool. Um, so I know Galarian Wheezing is it's a really cool combo. Yeah, Poison Fairy. I think we need more Poison Fairies. I think that's a cool type. Super strong, doesn't make sense to be a Poison Fairy. It's just I like it. Chibi Quill. Uh, so three questions. Do you plan to do merch that goes with your lore? Maybe. We'll see how well the membership stuff goes. Again, to do any sort of anything, you need startup, right? I've obviously used my own money for all of my own stuff. But it would be cool to do merch. Who knows? I have some ideas. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not a huge fan of selling things or getting money, right? We'll see. What inspired you to start making FakeMon? And also, what's crucial for trainers to be part of your lore? Uh, say so I mentioned this and I did another question and answer video at my 5K. And I kind of talked about how there was another YouTuber that did sort of this kind of stuff. There's been many YouTubers that have done fake mon where they've taken random animals and name and kind of put them together. But definitely yeah, definitely I think that would be kind of my kick is that other people did it. I have always loved the idea of creating things in my brain. So when I saw that people wanted that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, let's go. You watch to see what others do and what works well. You watch and learn from others' mistakes and others successes, and then you change that and implement it, which then kind of goes into your next question. I'm a storyteller. I love Dungeons and Dragons and I love that kind of stuff. So adding in you all into my lore, I thought was super awesome. So to be a part of my lore, just RP in the comments. If you receive a Pokemon and that's it, well, then that's it. But if you're a person that continues to come to the channel and RP and interact, then your interactions kind of help flush out some story. It might not be something insane, but it could be like something super cool, something super critical, like you rescuing other trainers that are strapped somewhere, or like sky's the limits. Will I get a lore adventure video from the villain's perspective? Yes. Yes, you will. I have been tinkering with some ideas. The villain's perspective on the side of Varen. Um, I only haven't done that because um I don't have enough time in my day. So something a little bit longer that is going to take a little bit more script writing and a little bit more like animations and stuff. But yes, it is coming. I have some cool ideas. I've started a little bit, so we'll see. Hopefully it gets dropped. I don't want to say soon, but hopefully it gets dropped in the future. My next question is from Elemental Out Harry. Harai. Sorry. Wow. What, close enough. What would your Pokemon be in a zombie apocalypse? Great question. To answer this question, I actually did do a video before I did creating you a random Pokemon team to survive a random disaster. I did videos previously, and one of them was my team that I pre-selected or purposely selected to help survive a zombie apocalypse. So I will link that below as well in the description if you want to watch it. Then that will answer your question. Um, yeah. Pika Art, who has been known as Gamer Mouse and Niddlefang, and you change your name on me a lot, but you did ask me a question. What would you recommend people if they were making Fatemon? Tips and tricks. Stick in your comfort zone, honestly. Like animals that objects that things that stick in your comfort zone. Um, you know, Creating something that is unachievable um might be a little bit hard. You still want to obviously stick in the like that Pokemon or like art style. So if you were to do like some crazy zombie, because we just talked about zombies, and like a planet, I don't know, I just took two random things and put them together because I have a Galactus poster up ahead. Might be really hard to do, but if you were to do something easy, like some sort of snake that was like a lava snake, just stick to things like keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. I don't know if that really answers your question. Um, but yeah. Luca Zambino. What is my least favorite Pokemon? Yours is the Grunts Morpeko. I don't know. That's actually a really hard question because I like all Pokemon. There's not really any that I'm like, oh, I don't really like. Like Pulse and Mine, I'm like kind of like meh. But they're cool. Like visually, they're like I like them. The idea behind them is cool. Cryogonal is like kind of interesting. Like I mean, it doesn't really look like a Pokemon. It kind of just looks like a brooch. But I kind of like it as well. I don't know. I don't. I really don't know. Um, yeah. I know. I'm sorry that doesn't really answer your question. But we have a couple questions left, and that means I'm gonna give away another Pokemon to you. So, Rotom, let's go.
Either I can hear your egg is about to hatch. Spiralux is said to be born from the souls of those lost at sea. It floats silently above the water, using its mesmerizing core to draw in the living. Those who meet its gaze are often trapped in endless dreams, slowly losing their way back to reality.
So when I was putting this video together, I noticed that some of my audio and video just kind of went poof. I don't know where it went. So I have some questions that were asked and they won't be showcased in the video. So I'm doing it like an audio version instead. So I apologize. But they were good questions and I want to make sure that they're answered. But our first one was from Pfeiffer and their question was, what would my two Pokemon titles be? So I did kind of sneak some of the titles in the animations. The first one would be Pokemon Dawn and Dusk. That's like the two series. But the titles would be Rise of Heroes. That would kind of correspond with the Dawn part of it. Dawn, New Beginnings, Rising Sun. And then Dusk would probably be something more villainous. I haven't actually picked out a name for that because I don't want to give anything away because when I do the villain kind of arc, the story arc, it will be released then. But great question. Thank you. All right, and our next question was from Rebecca Sugden, and their question was, what is my favorite Shinymon? I have a couple. I have a lot, actually. I think a lot of cool shinies, but some just to kind of off the top of my head. Shiny Arbok, I really like, and Shiny Gigalith. I think that is also a super awesome Pokemon shiny. Then we have another question. Literally so many got deleted. I don't know where they went. It took me hours looking through, and I just gave up, so I was like, whatever. So the next question is from the creator. If I could be any Pokemon, what would I be? So I would love to say Nidoking, because Nidoking is my absolute favorite Pokemon, but I think, like, realistically, and just, like, I'm thinking in my head, I'd probably be Arceus, because then I could just create every single Pokemon, and then we could just, like, have, like, a real Pokemon world. Like, that would be wicked. I would love to live in the Pokemon world. And our next question was asked by Hanzala, and they said, what was my first Pokemon game and what was my Pokemon team? So first Pokemon game that I played all the way through was Pokemon Silver. I did play Red and Blue, but not like all the way through, so I'm going to go with the game that I played all the way through. So for my team, I started off with Chikorita. Chikorita is wicked. I think it's super underrated. It's so awesome. How can you not like it? Then my second Pokemon that kind of stayed on my team was Hoothoot/Noctowl. I kind of got lost when I first started playing Pokemon and didn't know where to go. I didn't understand, like, the game itself. So I just had, like, a super powerful Hoothoot that, like, just stayed on my team for, like, the longest time. Then I went with a Zubat, because Zubat is awesome, which eventually evolved into Golbat and then Crobat. And then I went with, who else did I go with? Wooper, which you catch just after you get the egg. You kind of go down the path and there's like a way you can catch them there. And then what I go, so that's with my third Pokemon. It's really hard to figure out because I honestly forget. I know I had a Scyther on there, but that's because someone traded me a Scyther. Or no, they traded me a Scizor. So I had like a level 100 Scizor in like Goldenrod. So I had that on my team forever and it never like listened to me, so it just absolutely destroyed everything. But whatever. I then did have a Nidoran, because Nidoran was a Nidoran male, because you could get that in the game. And then Snubbull, which you get just outside of Goldenrod, because Grumble is wicked. I think, and then my last Pokemon that I had on my team, I'm pretty sure was Jolteon, because that's my favorite evolution. I think that was my team. I could be missing something. It was so long ago, but I think that's my team. And the next question was from Seal the Snail, and their question was, would there be any specific starters? So I kind of mentioned that a little bit previously, that there wouldn't be any starters. It would kind of just be like, you come into the lab, a Pokemon egg would choose you. So no, there's no specific starters, and this idea really came from the animes. Very often you would see Pokemon trainers who would have a starter that wasn't one of the three, and I really like that idea. It just added so much, it was so unique. So that answers your question, I hope. And our next question was from Casual Reaper Player, and their question was, who has watched my channel the most? Now, I can't see who has watched my channel the most, but I can see who's commented the most. And it looks, we'll just say the top four. Chibi Quill with 650 comments on the channel. Pro6789 with 398, Donkey Boy with 303, and Hanzala with 241. There's a lot of you with over 200 comments and 100 comments, so thank you so much to everyone who does comment. It means so much to me. And the last question, I kind of went poof into my PC, and I don't know where it went, was from Apollo. Some of your questions are answered a little bit further on in the video, like what region is Modera near? Why is there no regional forums? There actually are, which I mention a little bit further on. I mention a couple of them. I think I've done about 6. I also just previously mentioned the titles. However, the one question that stood out that I haven't answered is, if there was a show, who would the protagonist travel with? Would they be a funny comic relief, like with the dad jokes? Because you know my channel is a lot of dad jokes. Or would they be like incredible battling skills? I think that they would be comic relief. Yeah, I honestly do. I really like when animes and stuff like that have a character that doesn't take everything too serious, especially like in moments that you're like, oh my god, this is such a serious moment. Why are they cracking jokes? I really like that. If you like watch shows like One Piece, like Zoro, like I think he is absolutely awesome. I like the whole concept of him always just getting lost. There's just like a lot of characters that are just like really, really funny. Like the whole, like I'm gonna just mention like the big ones that people have like watched, like Naruto. Like Might Guy is just like super funny. I think that if this was to be show, the guy that would be traveling or the girl that would be traveling with like the main character would be a comic relief? Yeah, absolutely. Great question.
Honestly, congratulations. I am super stoked to be giving away Pokemon and answering questions. This is an awesome. This is. I like doing this kind of stuff. I like. I like engaging. I like engaging with all of you. Have I? Oh, sorry. Insert your name here. Have you ever played D&D? And if so, what was your first character? Yes, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I actually have multiple Dungeons and Dragons tattoos. One on my hand, one on my leg. I love, 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 love Dungeons and Dragons. I even for my wedding, we did Dungeons and Dragons themes. My wife is not a nerdy person. Quite the opposite, actually. Um, but Dungeons and Dragons, let's go. Uh, First character. My first character was a ranger half elf with an owl companion. Um, I played that character once. My real first character was actually a dwarven barbarian, zealot subclass. Um, Love barbarians. Probably my overall favorite class with cleric. I love playing a cleric. Absolutely awesome, awesome. I most recently played a fairy cleric, a brave cleric. I thought it was super cool. But really, my main thing in Dungeons and Dragons is actually like being the DM. For five 5 years, a group of my friends played campaign weekly, where I DM'd every single all homebrew, all you know, off the cusp. Like there was no script. We just kind of went for it. I love Dungeons and Dragons. So thank you for asking me a Dungeons and Dragons related question because absolutely amazing. And like I said, if more of you want to if I get more members, maybe I'll do like a tier three. That would be like a little bit more. Um, and then maybe we'll do like Dungeons and Dragons sessions. I think that could be kind of cool. Select four of you and we just like play for like 2 hours. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of neat. And I like I said, and it would be all improv. It'd be fun. Um, Rainbow Six Clips. Can we have a slowpoke form? Possibly. Um, I think that we could do like a poke form. The only reason I haven't is because Slowpoke already has two forms. So it hasn't really been on my radar. But we have done different forms for Pokemon that don't have multiple forms. But Slowpoke's cool. I like Slowpoke. I think it's a super cool Pokemon. Um, Angel Azraphale. If you were to make a Pokemon movie based on your region, who would the main character slash legendary Pokemon be from your custom Pokemons or any regular custom Pokemon? Hmm. I don't know. I actually don't know about the legendaries. We have a couple of them, and I think that could be kind of cool. Maybe it'll be a legendary that actually hasn't been given away yet. I think the whole premise of this would probably be Pokemon that have not been showcased. The reason behind that would be like, it'd be a whole new trainer, so getting them their own Pokemon. You go in to watch the show. Next thing you know, an egg hatches. Boom! It's something different. There's a new legendary just like ripping across the screen. It's super cool. It's super random. Nothing you would expect. I think that'd be kind of cool. Who knows? Um, KO Legends. Question. What is your favorite custom Pokemon? Oh, so we did answer some of your questions were similar. Like I said, I don't have a favorite. I'm biased because all of these videos have been made by me. Mwah. So I like all of them. I think they're all super cool. Um, and I can almost recite each and every single Pokemon that I have done. There's a lot of them, but I remember all of you as well as all your Pokemon. And newer Lucas. The question I have is, what is your favorite Pokemon that you've made? So again, there's a couple of you that answered this question, so your question is still valuable. But I don't have a favorite. Um, there's a lot of standouts. But no favorite. So there is a couple of you that answered or asked like similar questions. So Brian, Byron, Crimson Umbreon, and Sans the Skeleton. They asked, where would my region basically be if it was to be next to any other regions? Um, and then, hmm, where would my region be? I honestly think that it wouldn't be near anything because of the way this region is. Everything's very custom. The word Modera actually means custom. And I think Latin. Um, I actually don't know. I have to look at the origins of that word. Um, but I don't think I would do any uh like close to anything. I think it would just be kind of random. The concept of between this region is that it would be sort of like uh Pandora from Avatar meets like Lord of the Rings meets like uh just a whole bunch of different things and just kind of just put them together and it's just this big, maybe it's on its own planet. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't really thought about where I would put a region. I know someone asked me a question, and that question was like the reason, like, is my region close to anything because we haven't done any regional forms? I actually have done regional forms. I've done quite a few of them actually, like Litleo, just as recent as Mudbray. We've done Wooper, we've done Mimikyu, we've done a whole bunch, Sunflora. But again, there's no region. I guess like kind of like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like how you go into that. If you haven't played the game, I'm not gonna say anything, but you go to like a cool place, and it's kind of like this blend between the past and the present, depending on which one you get. And because of that, things happen. It'd be kind of even like that, where there's no real, like, Kanto's not beside it, or Johto, or Sinnoh, or anything like that. You're kind of just your own self-contained sort. It's a hard one to like really answer because again, the based off of the way the content is, I have to keep it very open-ended, and because of that, like, I don't try to keep anything too close because I basically it would expand, like, the whole region expands, and it's always expanding, so if I put myself too close to something, then, I feel like I'm boxed in, even though it doesn't even matter, like, I could put, like, a Lola up here and then still expand, and all I'm doing is just pushing a Lola further up, or pushing, whatever, like further up, like I'm just pushing it up. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe answers your question. Um, Hopefully that answered everybody's question. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just have so many like opinions on what I would do. But with that, that's our video. So some of you did ask me questions, and I apologize if you didn't make this video. That doesn't mean that I didn't read them and I didn't like think they were amazing. I just recorded this video and more questions were coming in. So I don't know. I hope you guys like that. I hope you guys enjoy this long kind of content where I just talk to you. But honestly, thank you all so much for helping me hit 10K. Thank you all for being patient while I edit this video and I kind of, take my time releasing it. You guys all mean absolutely the world to me. Cyber Squad, you guys rock. Next, we're gonna go for 100K. I think we can maybe do it. So if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, comment, share it, whatever. With that, Rotom, let's go hatch some more Pokemon and make sure that in our next videos, more of you get Pokemon partners. Let's go. And don't forget to RP in the comments, because RPing allows me to RP with you, which allows the lore and the story to create an even more expanding, twisting lore. So if you are feeling the RP urges, then drop those comments below. What are you and your Pokemon partner doing? If you don't have a Pokemon, what are you still doing? Are you a villain? Are you a hero? Are you an anti-hero? What is your story? Let's go.